Okay, we need to get rid of radicals in the denominator. What we did yesterday is we only had things that look like this. We only had one term in the denominator, so we would just multiply top and bottom by whatever that was. Why did we multiply top and bottom by the same thing? Because what? Why do I multiply by root 3 over root 3? It's still the same number. Yes, because root 3 over root 3 is 1, right? And that doesn't change anything. So that still applies here. You can't just multiply by any other number. The only number you can multiply by is 1, because that doesn't change the value of the expression. So I need to get rid of these radicals. All right. So what you do when you have two terms, okay, we've got two terms, is you multiply by the conjugate. Remember the conjugate from yesterday? Conjugate is the same two terms, except the sign in the middle changes. So if this is a subtraction, the conjugate would be in addition. So, yeah. So the top, and you have to do it to the top too, because you don't want to change the value of the expression. Because really, we were just multiplying by 1 now. Okay, this is where, if you remember the formula for conjugates, it makes your life easier. Okay. Because remember, the formula is a minus b times a plus b equals a squared minus b squared, right? So the bottom is going to be root 5 squared minus root 3 squared. Now you could FOIL it out. You'll get the right answer, but it's way more work. Okay. The top, this 2, because these are technically in brackets, gets multiplied by both of those. So we get 2 root 5 plus 2 root 3. Okay, now we have to simplify it. Top we'll just leave for now. What's the square root of 5 squared? 5. What's square root of 3 squared? What's 5 minus 3? So I get that. Cannot be simplified any further. You know the answer is yes. Sorry? Exactly. The 2 goes to both of them, right? And what happens to the 2's in front? They go away. So this goes there, and you're left with root 5 plus root 3. All right, so when you have two terms in the denominator and you're asked to rationalize it, you multiply by the conjugate. So for B, what's the conjugate for B? Are you confused, Jackson? Because if I write, no, it's not okay. I'm going to erase this because we're going to do this question down here. If you rewrite it like this, like that, you agree that's the same thing? Are you sure? Because those twos will. What? It won't. Unless you do calculus and you go on in math and stuff like that. Like you're going to be an engineer. This is just, you don't probably. right? This is just a skill to, if you do calculus, which is required for engineering, physics, chemistry, all those things, you need to know how to do this. But if like an actual job, nobody's ever going to ask you to do this. The understanding is important. That's why I'm kind of. Do you mean the understanding of how I got root 5, root 3? What do you mean? I don't understand what you mean by the whole thing.
Like the idea of operations on ground roots as a whole. Okay, so.
Okay. What's the conjugate of root 6 plus 2? There you go. So what does the bottom become? Oops. Root 6 squared minus 2 squared. Okay, what do I have to do to the top, though? You're going to have to FOIL it. So the top's going to get ugly. So you're going to go root 6 times root 6, which is root 6 squared. I'm just going to write it out all the way. Root 6 times negative 2. Negative 2 times root 6. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. All right, now we got to simplify this thing. What's root 6 squared? 6. Negative 2 root 6 minus 2 root 6 is? Negative 4 root 6. And then there's a plus 4 in the end. What is the bottom? 6 minus 4. Right? Because root 6 squared is 6. 2 squared is 4. Yes, they do. The 6 and the 4 combined to give you 10. The bottom is 2. Then what should we do? Jackson. Divide it, right? So it's 10 over 2 minus 4 root 6 over 2. 5 minus 2 root 6. Nope, you can't combine them because they don't have the same radicand. Right? So you just leave it. And that's it. And that is the unit. We're not going to do this one. All right, so just multiply by the conjugate. FOIL it out if you need to. Combine your like terms. Divide off the fraction. All I want you to do is number 1, pick 3. Number 3, pick 2. You do whatever you want.